the first $5,000 for a new nonprofit. So she's got a couple of handouts, and I'm not sure if they all got around. Did everybody get one of those handouts? No, not yet?
Oh,
okay.
They're not 2 pages.
Yes, there are 2 pages. They are separate. They are 2
Okay.
pages, yeah.
Oh,
So, you know, Chris, why don't you take it away, and I'll kind of get the handouts.
Okay.
So, hi. My name is Chris Faruya. I'm a development associate at the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. I specialize particularly in grant writing, but I also do some digital outreach. And before coming to the Lawyers Committee, I was trained at the United Way, doing their grant writing and also doing some coalition building, and then was hired on by a freelance grant writing company who specialized in finding organizations their first seed money. It ranged from the first $1,000, which it took to hire an associate to design a program for them, to the first $500,000 that it took to bring organizations like the Illinois Department of Transportation or Governor Quinn's office to buy into their organization, because these partnerships take money. And so I have a pretty good handle on both starting up a new program or starting up a new organization. And so Erica invited me to talk to you about, so you've got this great nonprofit idea, you'd like to bring it to scale, but you need to pay yourself, you need to buy space, you need to pay for printing. I know somebody had problems finding their first $500 to build a website, things like that. So one of the first questions that was asked to me as a freelance grant writer is, who should we hire? Should we hire anybody? How do we find a good consultant to do our writing? And the answer, unfortunately, is not straightforward. As a freelancer, I would love to say, yes, hire a freelancer. Here on my business card, here you go. I'm available between the hours of 3 and 8 in the evening. Give me a call. But that is lacking in honesty, and truthfully, it's not as fair, because the downside of hiring a freelancer is that you have to pay them regardless of whether or not they win you money. So I could say, hi, I have this great track record, look at all these happy clients, please, I'd love to work for you. But you're looking at a cost of between $85 and $125 an hour for a freelancer, and the funding might not happen until 6 months or a year later. So that's the downside, is that if you hire a freelancer or a consultant, you get their connections, you get their technical expertise. Most consultants are not in their 20s, they're in their 40s or 50s or 60s, and have been doing this for several decades, so they've gotten this down to an art. Unfortunately, you pay accordingly. There's the other option that you can do it yourself. Doing it yourself means that you're learning a lot of this through trial and error. People don't necessarily have the name recognition for you that they would for a high-profile consultant, but you also get to spend as much time on it as you need to. You're not driven on changing your program to make sure that it fits within the funder's interest. And you can afford to wait the 6 months and in the meantime work on your program instead of needing to pay that money out of pocket and then hope that it turns into money. So there are the two avenues towards fundraising. You can either hire somebody to do it for you, or you can do it yourself. I'm referencing the presentation that was given by the Donors Forum. They have all these great resources for this is how you find a funder who's interested in your work, this is how you contact them. The next step that I alluded to previously is that if you were asking for money, funders like to give to recognizable names. And they're much more comfortable with someone who says, hi, we've been working together for the last 20 years, I've got this great project, you should give money to us, than somebody cold calling and saying, hi, I've got this great project, you should give us money, because they hear that all the time. So instead of just giving them a cold call, it's better to check to make sure that you're within their interests and their priorities. And it's good to give them a contact via either LinkedIn or through a shared board member or things like that. LinkedIn is a wonderful tool because I can say I'm connected to 300 people. This program coordinator who's connected to 500 people, 600 people. I might not be connected to them. I've never met them before, but maybe somebody that I've worked with in a previous job knows them, or maybe somebody that I've met here knows them, or maybe someone I've met at the law project knows them. So instead of contacting them cold, you can ask for an introduction. So I can say, hi, Erica, I've never met this Foundation X. I feel like we would be a great fit, but giving them a cold call would be off-putting. Could you please introduce us? Could you invite us both for coffee sometime? Could you give me a referral? People like to come recommended. People are more likely to be funded that way. Another way that you can influence your chances for the better that you'll be funded is by asking for something small. So let's say that I have this program that I've done all the budgeting for, my board has confirmed that it's going to take $125,000 to run my workforce development program. This includes things like space and materials and hiring staff and paying for insurance and promotions and everything like that. So if I were to give the Chicago Community Trust a call and say, hi, I've got this program that's looking for $125,000. Can you help me out? Their answer is most likely to be, you just got your 501c3 2 months ago. No. But if I were to call up the Small Family Foundation, I'm blanking on any name recognitions right now.
The city.
Okay, if I were to call up the Family Foundation or the city and say, hi, I've got this project. It's innovative in this way. It's able to reach these communities that aren't normally reached. Can I have $500 to prove to you that this works? Then they might say, okay, $500 is enough to support 5 kids. And if these 5 kids show good deliverables, then we might hire you on to take 100. Or I was talking to somebody who's doing outreach in terms of healthy food. So you could say, hi, this $200 that you give me is enough for me to build a website, and then I can all additional materials come from promoting the website, creating brochures, creating trifolds, getting television spots, radio spots. Here's the initial steps, getting the initial foot in the door, and then I can scale it. Once you have that first money, it becomes much easier for you to get additional money. There are also special promotions that happen. Example, the city has an innovation award. And I think the innovation award.
Yeah, we're going short on time.
Okay,
so.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, the city has an innovation award. They give out money regularly, and so it's much easier to speak to something that they're more likely to give out money than just give someone a cold call.
Can we talk about the crowdfunding?
Absolutely. Another one of the big questions that I'm asked is I specialize both in fundraising and in web development, building websites. So people ask, hi, I've heard this term crowdfunding, so how does this work? Crowdfunding can work in one of 2 different ways. There are individual gifts, and there's also federated giving. Individual gifts are things like setting up a PayPal account or setting up a Square account. One of my handouts that I passed out are comparing price points and comparing strategic advantages of having a Square account versus having PayPal versus having WePay versus having Network for Good. There's also federated giving that I can speak to from my United Way experience. Federated giving is something like Group on Good, where you say, hi, I'm this nonprofit. I'm looking for individual donations. Please promote me through your avenue of through your pool of existing customers. And then your existing customers, which I don't have to go forth and recruit on my own, can give to my cause or not. And the best thing about federated giving is that it's often matched. So if I were to ask the Caterpillar Foundation, hi, can you please ask your employees to donate to me? Every time somebody at Caterpillar donates $5, Caterpillar matches it $5. Every time someone at Groupon gives 20, Groupon matches it with 20. So it's a good way of doubling your money. And previously talking about individual donations in terms of either federated giving or having a PayPal, having a WePay, having a Square, is the need comes up of how do you meet individual donors. You can meet them in a variety of ways. One of my favorites is to hold a special event. Sorry. I prepared a 15-minute speech. Okay. One of my favorite ways is to hold a special event and have a sign-in sheet, or to do outreach events and have a sign-in sheet. You can get their names, get their emails, and then you have a pool of people that you can blast out to. Hi, $5 will be enough to pay for the introduction materials to help someone get their GED. $50 will be enough for me to pay gasoline for a week so that I can travel around and help these people out. Things like that. And so by gathering this pool of people that you can ask for small donations, then you can scale those small donations up from $5 to $50, someday possibly $500, et cetera, et cetera. One of the best things about raising $5,000, and probably one of the reasons why you framed it this way, is once you have money in the door, it becomes much easier for you to get more money in the door because you can do more things with it. So if you can say, look, this is what I can do with $5,000, it makes more sense to bigger funders to say, oh, I'll give you $25,000, rather than asking them for the bigger money outright. I can be reached at @me, or via my website at grantvizier.com. I would show it up here if you don't have it. Can you give you some kind of...
We can email it, because we're going to have a final email.
Okay, I could email it.
Yeah.
I'm here in case you have any questions after the presentation. That's about it.
Where are you located?
Okay. Oh, here. The Chicago Lawyers Committee.
Great.
Chris is our development associate for the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights, and then she also does freelancing on the side.
Good.
And so I've asked her to, I know you've seen in link, Brian, but I've asked her to just share some of the few tips that she has experience with raising that initial $5,000 for a new organization.
Absolutely.
So, any questions for Chris?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
One of my big challenges is raising the whatever $1,000 or so to actually become a 501c3.
Okay.
I can't even get to that part yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Raising $850 when you don't have a 501c3 is difficult because, especially with foundations or with corporate giving, they want to see that you are a charity before they give you any money because otherwise it's not tax deductible. One of the best strategies that I've seen so far is to identify a nonprofit that you can partner with. And this is, have you talked about fiscal sponsorship?
Yeah, we'll talk about it today. So yeah.
Okay, fiscal sponsorship, Erica will talk about later. It's essentially borrowing somebody's 501c3 and saying, we are, I don't know, we are working in collaboration with them, or we are subcontracting some of their nonprofit work. This is about the best analogy that I have for it. And so you can say, hi, I'm going to have a table at this existing nonprofit's event. Or, hi, there's going to be a little blurb about me at the bottom of their flyer saying, this is a good social good project that is happening. You should consider giving to them as well. There's also the advantage that PayPal, WePay, Square, things like that do not require you to be a 501c3 before you can start taking individual donations. So something that I've seen people do is have the little Square account. Has anyone here seen Square?
I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it.
It's like using putting a charge card reader on your iPhone or on your Android. And so you can take charge card donations. So if someone is tabling and selling something promotional, like you can sell T-shirts, you can sell the Bucktown Art Fest was selling little stuffed animals, things like that. And so you can take people's donations as if it was just a fishbowl for their money without having to demonstrate that you are a 501c3. Of course, after you get the 501c3, it's a good idea to send them a thank you note along with something that they can use for their tax purposes later on.
Yeah. There's some other issues, like you shouldn't solicit without registering with the Attorney General, but this is the legal steps we'll talk about when you can do this. So that's good.
It's not a chicken egg concept. It's just doing things in the proper order.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you. Okay.